siguro magpakatotoo tayo na you need to tone down siguro, ah, medyo wag masyadong try to economize ba, but you can still be hosting ASEAN events in the Philippines na meaningful naman, substantial yung meetings, but not to the point na sobrang social and sobrang bongga. But the problem that you have to remember is, the Marcoses, including probably the First Lady, are not known for being frugal, are not known for being economized, are not known for economizing things when you talk about susyalan, party, at hosting an event or hosting, like a party or something. Hindi sila known for that eh. They're known for being extravagant, and they're known for being, bongga-bongga and social-social. That's what I know. Well, hindi lang naman ako yan eh. Maraming mga tao, and the whole Philippines, the whole world knows that. Know that. So, sa akin, hopefully, i-tone down yan. Kasi, malaking budget niyan. Kung ang ibang budget dyan is shift mo to help our kababayan na naghihirap, better siguro. And we should not be hypocritical kasi magbubongga-bongga ka tapos mamaya makikita ng mga delegates coming from different countries kung anong sitwasyon ng Manila and ng the rest of the Philippines, nakakahiya yun. Better to be more authentic and authentic sa kung ano talaga ang sitwasyon natin. I think other countries and other leaders in ASEAN would appreciate that.
Dito naman po sa mga hakbang na pinopropose po no ng ilan sa mga mambabatas like kagaya po ni Congressman Leandro Leviste na baka pwede nating kung ano yung magtipid tayo doon sa kasi tayo ang host sa ASEAN for this year at napakalaking pondo po ang inilaan. Po pwede ba tayong maging simple lang like kagaya sa panahon po ng pandemya ba na ganon yung setup para at least and may epekto po ba kung mag-adjust muna si Pilipinas bilang host sa ASEAN kasi pinuna rin ng mga Pilipino yung mga post ng First Lady na nagtitikim-tikim na ng mga pagkain na pwedeng isilbi, food taste ata para sa kasi host tayo po ng mga bisita mula sa mga iba't ibang mga bansa dito po sa ASEAN. Prof.
Oh, actually magandang tanong 'yan kasi kung mayroon kang crisis sa Pilipinas, naghihirap ang mga Pilipino, crunch time, ang budget actually totoo diyan eh, yung ASEAN hosting mo at saka pagiging ASEAN chair, malaki ang budget na ilalaan talaga ng current government diyan. Kasi syempre delegation, halimbawa isang country delegation pa lang, ang dami na niyan eh. Tsaka hindi mo naman pwedeng ilagay yan sa mga pipitsugin hotel at hindi mo naman pwedeng papakainin yan ng mga kung ano-ano lang unless you're willing, 'di ba? Na sabihin sa kanila na o dito lang kayo sa hotel na star 1 or star 2, hindi yung 5 star, 'di ba? Parang ganun. So, malaki talaga ang pondo na ilalaan diyan at probably nilaan na diyan. Ang problema, we have a crisis and also even before the Middle East war, malaki na ang problema ng Pilipinas in terms of economy and even in terms of budget. So kung tatanungin mo ako kung nag-agree ako doon kay Leviste, Congressman Leviste na magtipid-tipid. Well, dapat talaga may austerity measure. And you need to find a way na you're still be hosting kasi chair tayo ng ASEAN this year eh. That's even the thing eh. Kasi alam mo, before pa ito mangyari, mayroon ng mga suggestion na kung pwede, ipasa na muna yung chairmanship halimbawa sa next in line. Kasi ang Pilipinas, it seems na magulo nga. May domestic problem ka, may corruption ka, ang daming problema, economic struggle natin as a country. And then ngayon, dumating pa itong Middle East crisis. Kumbaga, doon muna sa iba na mas economically stable and mas wealthy, mas mayaman na bansa tulad ng Singapore. So pero hindi tinuloy ni Marcos Jr. So ngayon, responsibilidad natin na ngayon kung magtitipid ka, okay, talagang kailangan mo magtipid, siguro kailangan mong tignan kung saan ka alam mo yun, ito-tone down mo ba ang cost na hindi siya masyadong bongga, hindi siya masyadong sosyal, at wag tayong magkunwari na alam mo yun, kukunwari ka na sosyal-sosyal, ang bongga-bongga, pero ang mga Pilipino ay naghihirap at hindi kumakain ng 3 beses sa isang araw dahil sa economic crisis na kinaharap ng bansa. Napaka-hypocritical naman nun. At alam naman ng mga ASEAN counterparts natin and even ASEAN partners na the Philippines is not the wealthiest country in ASEAN. So, siguro, magpakatotoo tayo na, you need to tone down. Siguro, medyo wag masyadong, try to economize ba? But you can still be hosting ASEAN events in the Philippines na meaningful naman, substantial yung meetings, but not to the point na sobrang social and sobrang bongga. But the problem that you have to remember is, the Marcoses, including probably the First Lady, are not known for being frugal, are not known for being economized, are not known for economizing things when you talk about socialan, party, at, hosting an event or hosting, like a party or something. Hindi sila known for that eh. They're known for being extravagant and they're known for being, bongga-bongga and social-social. That's what I know. Well, hindi lang naman ako yan eh. Maraming mga tao and the whole Philippines, the whole world know that. So, sa akin, hopefully, i-tone down yan kasi malaking budget niyan. Kung ang ibang budget dyan is shift mo to help our kababayan na naghihirap, better siguro. And we should not be hypocritical kasi magbubongga-bongga ka tapos mamaya makikita ng mga delegates coming from different countries kung anong sitwasyon ng Manila and ng the rest of the Philippines, nakakahiya yun. Better to be more authentic and authentic sa kung ano talaga ang sitwasyon natin. I think other countries and other leaders in ASEAN would appreciate that. Pero, well, I don't know if yung suggestion na magtipid, maging frugal, at maging, well, meaningful pa rin ang hosting, but not too bongga, not social-social, and, try to be hypocrite na you can afford this, and that, pero hindi naman pala kaya ng ekonomiya mo, and it cost a lot to the economy and to other, ang nagsasuffer pala ang mga Pilipino, yun ang problema natin sa current administration kasi, well, we all know that the Marcoses, even the First Lady is not known for being frugal or being thrifty or something to that effect. We know that. I think everyone knows. So,
Opo.
ganun ang challenge doon. Now, kung makikinig naman ang gobyerno and they will follow suggestions like that, good. But if not, then what can we do? They're in power. So, yun ang problema.
Opo, Prof, may epekto po ba sa tingin ninyo yung una tayong nag-declare na meron tayong energy emergency, ang termino nila is
The first country.
emergency, naging headline tayo sa
Mm.
buong mundo kumpara dito sa ating mga karatig na mga bansa sa Southeast Asia. Tayo talaga yung pinakaunang nag-declare. Tayo rin yung yata yung ayaw pang aminin na may crisis.
O
Emergency
yun
lang
nga
daw.
eh.
Oo, may kaibahan daw yata yung emergency sa
So,
crisis. Ano pong basa niyo po rito in terms po sa dating nito sa ating mga kapitbahay na mga bansa, sa mga bansa na nanghihimok tayo, na magkaroon po ng mga negosyo sila dito, Prof?
una, tama. Ang Pilipinas ang first na ang unang bansang nag-declare across the world ng state of national energy emergency. Anong ibig sabihin? Precisely because may pangangamba dun sa supply ng ng flow of energy or what you call oil flow, and at the same time energy stability in the Philippines. That's why you declare that. So kung ikaw ay from other countries or from an international perspective, hindi ka Pilipino, kumbaga observer ka ng Pilipinas, ano yung messaging na sinasabi noon, yung state of energy emergency national, no? Ibig sabihin, the Philippines is not energy secured. It has what you call energy insecurity. And to certain extent, it does not, well, it did not actually, kumbaga, dun sa tinatawag mong investment climate sa Pilipinas or investors or even the current investor in the Philippines, hindi siya magandang signal. Kasi ibig sabihin, may insecurity ang Pilipinas when you talk about energy. So, yun ang messaging mo. Kung ang tatanungin mo mga tao na nasa labas ng Pilipinas or the international level or international community. Yun ang masasagap nila. Now, ano yung impact nun when you talk about economics and when you talk about investment climate in the Philippines? Well, it was an exposure to the whole world that the Philippines really is energy insecure, which is true din to a greater extent. True naman yan eh. Hindi rin naman natin na makakailan nun. Kasi if you look at the Philippines, when you talk about oil supply, we're import dependent almost 100%. So, and not only that, with other products, even rice, even other basic commodities, we're import dependent too. We cannot even have food security kasi kalamihan ng ating mga produkto na kinakain na basic staple food ay ini-import natin. So it gives kumbaga it gives an image to the to the whole international community na ganito ang sitwasyon ng Pilipinas, that we are not energy secured, we're not food secure. So when you talk about investment, of course, mag-iisip yung mga investors dyan na, oh, ang Pilipinas pala ganito ang sitwasyon. And at the same time, ano yung connotation kasi dyan? Kasi when you do business in the Philippines, it's very expensive compared to other countries in ASEAN. Because, totoo naman din to. Kasi mataas din naman talaga ang cost ng mga businessmen at saka investors sa Pilipinas. Kasi even the basic commodities are very expensive compared to other ASEAN countries. Totoo naman yan. Pero mas na-amplify pa nung ganitong sitwasyon. And of course, na-headline talaga ang Pilipinas, the first country to declare state of national energy emergency. Which is, ang sinasabi naman nila, ang crisis and emergency is not the same. Yeah, probably in terms of semantics, hindi siya the same. Kasi emergency and crisis. But come on, give me a break. How would you define crisis? How would you define emergency? Mas mahirap nga yung emergency na word kaysa sa crisis. Kasi emergency, ibig sabihin, nandun ka na talaga sa, kumbaga, ito yung bangin, paano ka na eh, malalaglag ka na, emergency nga eh. So hindi ko maintindihan ang propaganda at saka yung optics na pinapalabas ng Malacanang na sinasabi nila, everything is okay, there's no such thing as a crisis, there's no such thing as an oil crisis. When everything is rising up, oil, food, everything, every week nagre-rise up. So yun ang sinasabi ko, napaka-detached ng Malacanang at ng gobyerno ni Marcos Jr. sa realidad ng buhay at sa mga nangyayari sa Pilipinas at saka na-experience ng regular na mga Pilipino. Yun yung problema. Why are you making a smoke screen when everyone in the country, is already experiencing all of this problem? Tapos sasabihin mo, okay lang, walang problema ang Pilipinas, we're good, we don't have crisis, we don't have oil crisis or energy supply crisis whatsoever. Ano yun? Yun naman sa domestic level ang nakakainis na para bang anong tingin mo sa amin? Hindi namin alam at wala kaming pakiramdam at hindi namin nakikita na hindi na nga kami gumagamit ng aircon kasi mahal masyado ang kuryente dahil sumipa na lahat, yung pataas. So yun ang tingin ko diyan na para bang bakit ba kailangan bakit ba kailangan nila ng ganitong mga pronouncement? It's like, why are you trying to make the whole Philippines like stupid people when in fact we all know kung ano ang talaga ang kumbaga ano yung state of affairs at ano talaga ang totoong state ng Pilipinas when you talk about energy, when you talk about economics, when you talk about the dollar to a peso. Alam mo yun, yung isa lang na kailangan mong tignan na indicator eh. $1 is equivalent already, a round off mo to 61 pesos. That's already an indication that there's a problem and there's a crisis in the Philippines when you talk about economics. So hindi na tayo magpaligoy-ligoy pa. At from there, maraming epekto yan. And then, another thing is, yung debt mo, from 17 trillion to 18 point something trillion, it's already an indication that we really have a crisis and we're facing a crisis. So, napaka-crazy naman ng Malacanang at especially ng PCO na sasabihin niya na, oh, everything is okay, we don't have a problem, we don't have a crisis. That's crazy because that is not the reality that the Filipino people is facing. So, all of this are optics and trying to, this is not the way you calm down the Filipino people. Alam mo, one example that I really like when you talk about how the government is trying to make the people understand kung ano ang realidad ng buhay given the challenges globally speaking and even the impact of the Middle East crisis. One country that's in ASEAN at saka yung kanilang prime minister who is very good is Singapore. Yung leader nila, alam mo, every now and then, saying the exact reality na kinahaharap ng mga Singaporeans, saying na we will face up difficult times, we will face this difficulty, but the government will find a way to solve this problem. We will work this out together as a nation, as a people, and blah, blah, blah. Singapore leader is doing that. Ini-explain talaga niya sa mga tao kung ano ang totoo at anong realidad at sinasabi niya, pero at the same time, ina-assure niya na the government is working on all of these things together with the people. Pero sa Pilipinas, ang nangyayari, dinideny nila yung current situation, pero wala naman silang ino-offer na concrete solution to the problems na ini-experience na ng Pilipinas. Palaging reactive, late na eh. Kasi kapag gobyerno ka, dapat proactive ka.
Opo.
Before pa nangyari, for day one ng Middle East crisis, alam mo na kung anong gagawin mo dapat.
Opo.
Mayroon ka ng plano, may contingency measure ka na. Lahat dapat yan. Hindi yung tipong ngayon, nagkakagulo na, nasa crunch time na, saka ka pala magkikreate ng tinatawag ng crisis management. Oh my God, that's too late.